Eddie Murphy is back as Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. He's rejoined by familiar faces like Judge Reinhold and John Ashton as Rosewood and Taggart, along with new characters and new hijinks.
I didn't realize that you couldn't really fly helicopters.
Watch Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. now, only on Netflix. Rated R.
Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. With the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms, Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers. In fact, Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/podcastfree. All lowercase, shopify.com/podcastfree, shopify.com/podcastfree.
For exclusive podcasts and more, sign up at patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia.
This week's Law & Order Marathon winner is Irene Chan from Brisbane in Queensland, Australia. Irene will get a marathon decal showing she watched 26.2 hours of her favorite crime show. To be next week's winner, sign up at lawandorderpodcast.com.
I'm Kevin Flynn with Rebecca Lavoie and Roberta Blevins, and these are their stories.
You think you know who did it, but you don't know who did it. Law and order, law and order, law and order. It's no ordinary police procedural, baby. It's the FNOG of police procedurals, baby. Law and order, law and order, law and order, law and order. These are their stories, these are their stories.
Welcome to These Are Their Stories, Season 9 of These Are Their Stories, the podcast about network TV's most enduring crime franchise and the real-life cases that inspired their shows. I'm Kevin Flynn. Each podcast will break down an episode from either Criminal Intent, SVU, or Original Recipe, and today we're looking at Special Victims Unit, Season 6, Episode 3, Obscene.
Danny confessed to rape. BJ Cameron is the one you should be going after. Danny wouldn't have done anything if BJ hadn't egged him on. Mom. You don't have a say in this.
Joining me to do just that is true crime author and the host of Crime Writers On and Netflix's You Can't Make This Up podcasts, Rebecca Lavoie. Hello, Rebecca.
Thanks for having me back, Kevin.
And rounding out our panel is our special guest from the Life After MLM podcast. It's Roberta Blevins. Hello, Roberta.
Hello. How are you?
Good. So you've kind of compared MLMs to like cults, right? Or
totally.
A lot of people have. But there are a lot of cults in the news, and some people in the cults, they give up everything. They give up their freedom, their families, their bodies. Some even follow their leaders into death. But none of those cults had people pay money up front to get in. So who's the big sucker, really?
I don't know. I think that the cult that is probably the most expensive is Scientology.
Yeah, you do have to keep like paying for that and stuff like that.
Yeah. You want to climb the bridge to total freedom, you got to have deep pockets.
Yes.
But there's no custom merch, right? You know, no special.
Yeah, those uniforms are like Navy uniform things they make.
They do have naval uniforms, yeah.
But they're not selling them to other Scientologists. That's really
did you see that?
I'm not sure. And they've got to have merch, right? I have some people I could ask. There's got to be like Scientology merch like once you're in. It's like
I've never seen a T-shirt that says like I'm with Scientology and a big finger pointing to the person next to you, right?
Although Tom Cruise's sister has to call him sir or something.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that?
I like that.
I don't like it.
I have anti-Scientology merch. I have a sweatshirt that says "Not today, Thetan." Yeah.
Perfect. Roberta, of all the franchises, which two cops are your favorite Law and Order detective team?
Favorite Law and Order detective team.
I love SVU. It's really the only one that I watch. And so I'm going to have to go with Mariska Hargitay and Peter Maloney. But I don't know that. You guys, I'm not an SVU like super fan like you guys are, so I don't know their names.
Who the fuck is Peter?
Is that his name?
You think Chris Maloney?
I'm sorry, not Peter.
But there's also
Chris.
Peter Scaravino, who's Carisi. You know,
I didn't mean to say
I
Chris.
love
That's
it.
fine.
I love it.
I didn't mean to say made Peter. Why did I say Peter? Wow. It's been a day.
I called Andrew Scott, Adam Scott the other day. It's fine. Shit happens.
Christopher. I'm so sorry, Christopher. Elliot. I'm sorry, Elliot.
Yeah,
I know it's... Kind of know the same. I'm
Elliot
really
has
bad
it
at
coming,
names.
believe us. And who is your favorite prosecutorial team?
Favorite Law and Order District Attorney Prosecutorial Team.
I loved seeing Judith Light in this episode because I'm a big Angela Bauer fan from back in the day. Who's the boss?
Tony.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my God, it's Angela. I wrote that in my notes.
I have to ask, since you're Who's the Boss fan. Sorry, Kevin, for a second, we're
No,
going to
it's all right.
digress.
Yeah.
Can we not agree that Angela's house was fucking gorgeous? Like, the
So nice.
set design was incredible. Totally holds up. Like, they got that Connecticut house thing, like, completely, like, locked down, right?
I was so jealous of like the swinging kitchen door of every television show because we didn't have that. We had like a very open concept house, like very Southwestern Pueblo type looking houses, very open concept. And so no swinging doors. And that was one of the things that I wanted so badly as a child.
You wanted to live in a Howard Johnson's? All right, now let's take a look at the first half of this episode. SVU Season 6, Episode 3, Obscene. Well, filming on the set of Girl Undercover is interrupted when star Jessie Dawning is found unconscious in her trailer. She has a blow to the head, and she's been raped.
Who has access to Jesse's trailer?
Just the crew. Security has strict orders. No one's allowed on the set unless they work for me.
Anyone on the crew have a problem with Jesse?
No, we've been together for 3 seasons. I know it sounds cornball, but we're like family.
What's all this? Jessie the slut? Teen tramp?
Rag magazines.
Jessie is network television's hottest piece of jailbait, a 16-year-old who plays a sexy teenage undercover cop. Activist Carolyn Spencer leads a group trying to stop a show that is corrupting America's youth, stifling the ambitions of girls, and perverting the thoughts of boys, or at least move it to a later time slot. Stabler and Tutuola learned Jessie had a ton of prescription drugs and was turned when the assault happened. The DNA in the rape kit belongs to the show's executive producer, but that jizz is consensual because the 40-year-old is secretly married to the 13-year-old, and it's all legal.
13?
Well, 16.
She's 16.
like how close do you really have to be? It's all the same. But hey, there's also a pubic hair that belongs to their suspect. Obviously, because it doesn't belong to her.
What?
That was the thinker. All right, Elliot and Finn quizzed.
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus Christ.
She's like a baby doll.
I got it.
Yeah, you got it. Okay, all right.
I got it. Ew.
I realize I'm completely unemployable after this. Elliot and Finn quiz 2 teens who've been kicked off the set for trespassing. They said that they wanted to get a pair of panties from Jesse's trailer so they could get on shock jock BJ Cameron's radio show. The broadcaster made all sorts of crude comments about the actress, but says suggestions that his listeners give her a sausage dog are protected by the First Amendment. That's when the panty raider sends a selfie with a passed-out Jessie in her trailer. The detectives arrest Danny Spencer, the teenage son of morals activist Carolyn Spencer. All right, so we start off with, a fake out where they're not doing SVU, but it's this fake TV show. And I got to say, this fake TV show is so over the top and the dialogue is so bad. This could be an actual SVU
episode. Multiple stab wounds, neck snapped. Pervert's at it again. It's about time the K-9 unit got here. Detectives, got another Jane Doe. Same MO as the others, judging from rigor, been dead maybe 20 minutes. Killer could be one of the looky-loos.
Herb gets off watching us clean up his mess.
I wasn't fooled for a second, Kevin. It was so fake.
He goes, the pervert's at it again.
Well, they bring this blood-sniffing dog on set, and you think it's an actor dog, but it's actually truly a real blood-sniffing dog because it found a real crime scene, and not just a regular movie scene, a TV show scene.
That's right.
It went right past the fake blood and right to the real blood.
Yeah.
Or wherever, where she was in her trailer.
That's right. Oh my God, you're so right. It wasn't an actor dog. It was
It wasn't an actor dog.
How did that dog get the role?
Well, I don't know if it's a blood-sniffing dog or a drug-sniffing dog, because it might have gone,
maybe.
OxyContin.
It was literally a bloodhound.
It was a bloodhound. That's right.
It literally was a bloodhound.
That's what they call those.
But it went right past the fake body and right into a real body.
Yeah.
But it was, that's why. How did this dog get the role? That's an excellent question.
Well, that's how.
Okay.
I just told you how. Yeah, so this bad show, the writers are like, okay, the show within the show, you have to make it sound bad. And the writers are like, we can't make this one sound good. So,
yeah.
By the way, Stabler and Finn meet this guy who's like yelling out cut and action and moving everybody around. And his name is Franco Marquez. And he says that he's the executive producer. That's not what the executive producer does. That's what the director does.
I know.
The executive producer sits in his mansion and counts his money.
Dick.
Yeah.
Dick
Wolf.
Yeah. Writers like, hey, writers, have you seen Dick Wolf wandering around the set ever? No, he's at home in Malibu, jumping into his vault with all the money like Scrooge McDuck, swimming. Dick Wolf.
But I bet if Dick Wolf was married to Mariska Hargitay, he'd be around quite a bit. I'm just guessing.
I don't know, but he was super creepy. Like, he gave me super creep vibes. Not Dick Wolf.
No.
The guy on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, why not? He's apparently, we find out later, secretly married to his 16-year-old star.
Phoebophile, they're called, right?
Yes, not pedophile, pheebophile. Yes, very good, Rebecca.
Yes. Thank you.
Way to split hairs in a very important way.
I learned it from watching you, Dad.
You mean, wait a sec.
I learned by watching you.
We really need to be careful about how you phrase that.
Oh, sorry.
Do not dangle that participle. I've already said I'm unemployable in half of America.
I meant the guy on the show.
Oh, okay. All right. But at one point, Marquez tells them to watch the show, so he gives them a VHS tape.
Big old clunky one.
Yeah. I don't want to critique a fake show within a real show, but Chef's Kiss on the promo for Girl Undercover.
Yeah.
She may look like the girl next door, but this is no ordinary girl. She's smoking hot, but she's just 16. You can look, but you better not touch.
She's no ordinary girl. She's smoking hot.
Yeah, but you know what? I wrote down these things. I actually paused it because in that scene, I come with receipts. Okay. In that scene, there's a whiteboard.
You got all the different upcoming shows right now. Yeah.
You know, they're saying, look at you. How do you expect this to not be the outcome when you've got this girl being and it's all the story ideas on the whiteboard. So I wrote them down. Do you guys want to hear what they are?
Yes, totally. Pitch us.
1, Jessie as a stripper, poison breast implants. 2, Jessie as a lifeguard with a ring of ex-dealers / surfers.
Oh.
Okay.
3, Jessie as a stewardess who is studying for the SATs when a terrorist takes over the plane.
Select C all the time.
Number 4, Jessie meets evil undercover girl. Her evil twin, essentially, and she's an genetically engineered super soldier. And these are all on the whiteboard behind them. And then the last one, which is the creepiest, is Jessie sleeps with the substitute teacher. He's a serial killer, and Jessie has to kill him.
These were all great ideas, by the way.
Great. Those are all the story ideas for a 16-year-old undercover high school spy.
Yeah. Prince Andrew said 2 thumbs up.
How did what is it? I just want to know, the pilot of this show, how did the 16-year-old girl get this job?
Well, they called Nickelodeon, and they said, hey, you know that guy who ran iCarly? He must know somebody.
Do you have anybody who's aging out?
That's right.
But not aging
No, aging under. They're like, who's too young for Victorious?
In the show.
Yeah.
I mean, we had, 21 Jump Street, right?
Yeah.
Old cops who looked young went into a high school. What is the concept where a 16-year-old girl becomes a fucking cop? What is that concept? What are the cops like?
I don't know. Midi-chlorians.
You know what we need?
She had the right amount of midi-chlorians, so they...
To be perfectly honest, I believe that this is at least the plot point of 2 teen Disney after school shows, Disney TV shows that I remember my children watching.
It's Buffy the Vampire Slayer is what it is. Except Buffy the Vampire Slayer, it's legitimately supernatural, and it's not cops. It's a hellmouth is what it is.
But okay, so remember, she's in this over-sexualized role, and they say Jessie is only 16, but they also say They're in their third season.
Yeah.
She was in 9th grade when they started.
She was
and the network's like, oh, she's you can look, but you better not touch.
She was a 14-year-old cop. They were like, the precinct was like, you know what we need?
With poison breast implants.
You know what we need an SVU? A 14-year-old. Finn was like, what's up with that?
Also, when in the promo, when she calls into like headquarters, she's like,
red light to Central, we have a problem. I broke another heel.
It's just like, she's supposed to be this like super great, powerful, like empowered woman who's like fighting the bad guys. But like her biggest problem is that she broke another heel.
Another heel.
I think that sounds like a problem for the wardrobe department, to be honest. I'm like, what is happening? She looks like the girl next door, but she's super hot.
Smoking hot.
Smoking
hot. Don't touch.
But
don't you feel
so
like
gross?
On this fake network, this fake show, that's the whole point. They want you perving out. They're like,
yeah,
we're making a point of telling you. No shows on Nickelodeon. They go, well, Miley Cyrus, she's only 16, but she's singing. They don't make the point. It's like it's set.
Wait. It's iCarly, not my Carly.
But here's the thing. This episode came out 20 years ago, and it is so like right with everything we're talking about in the now, in the news.
Right.
And it's all about the stuff that happened 10 to 20 years ago that was hidden.
I think this episode is actually in those Epstein files that were just released. I'm not fucking kidding.
SVU talked about it. It must be real.
They found that VHS tape on the plane. It's on the manifest.
No.
Yeah.
They're like, Girl Undercover season 3. How'd you get this?
I know the executive producer. So when they visit the home of Carolyn Spencer, she says that she wants better role models for her daughter and pulls up a big poster that says no to Jesse Dawning and yes to Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know, right? I was like, okay.
She wants a lesbian for her daughter, a 75-year-old lesbian.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's exactly what she meant, right? Of course, I have no problem with lesbians, but I do not think that this woman would be like 100% yes, I want a 75-year-old lesbian as a role model for my daughter.
You know what Eleanor Roosevelt said?
What?
Is this because I'm a lesbian?
Yes, it is.
By the way, don't get all high and mighty, Eleanor Roosevelt. We all know that you were showing ankle during the Great Depression. You slut.
Yeah, don't slut shame Eleanor Roosevelt's ankles.
No.
Don't.
I mean, it kind of does go with this whole episode because this whole episode is just like a big slut shaming episode.
I know.
It is. So Carolyn says that she has dedicated her life to saving America from a near-naked teenager flouncing around each week on network television, but she would be okay with this trash if they moved it to 10 o'clock.
Amazing.
Which is exactly what I said about Law and Order organized crime. All right, let's take a look at our cast.
It's our very special guest star,
Ms. Dana Delany.
Yay!
Appearing as Carolyn Spencer, she is the two-time Emmy Award winner as Colleen McMurphy on China Beach. She's also Catherine Mayfair on Desperate Housewives and Megan Hunt on Body of Proof.
16-year-old done up like a hooker. We don't want that marketed to fifth graders. Let the network move the show to 10 o'clock. I'll shut up.
Dana has appeared in 11 movies and TV series as the cartoon voice of Lois Lane.
Really?
Really?
Didn't know that.
And so she was also, remember, on Desperate Housewives with Terry Hatcher.
Terry Hatcher, who was also Lois Lane.
Was also a Lois Lane,
with
right?
that horrible Dean Cain.
That horrible. Boy, who saw that coming?
I didn't.
It's like him and
so
Chachi.
cute.
What the fuck, those two guys?
So
right?
He was
Chachi,
so
though.
cute.
Blah, blah, blah,
that
blah,
Dean
blah.
Cain, man. They're real and they're fabulous. Is that what she said on Seinfeld?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Her first acting job was in 1973. I think she was 16.
Who, Dana Delany?
Dana Delany, 1973,
That's when I was born.
in the English version of a cartoon, a Soviet adaptation of the Jungle Book called The Adventures of Mowgli, which doesn't sound problematic at all.
That's fucking amazing.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. The communist version.
There should be a podcast where people watch like really old problematic films and then talk about them. Kind of like this, but with really problematic television shows.
Wait, like the communist version of the most racist Disney cartoon ever made.
Like, what?
Oh my
is this?
But hold on, the Soviets like hated racist shit. Like, how did they do that? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
Amazing.
Am I supposed to really ask about that?
Don't ask.
In 1983, Danny Delany took up the battle against Ring Around the Collar in a commercial for Whisk.
Wow.
Remember Whisk?
I do.
Yeah. Man, you never hear about it. I thought the issue of Ring Around the Collar would still be around today. Did we solve this battle?
We solved it.
Did we win the fight against Ring Around the Collar, and that's why we don't hear about it?
No, they created Ring Around the Collar and they made us notice Ring Around the Collar. And then when the product went away, we stopped noticing Ring Around the Collar because Ring Around the Collar isn't really that much of a thing.
Roberta, no one wanted to take up the mantle in the fight against Ring Around the Collar. Soviet cartoons about brown children in the jungle, fine. But, you know. Dana Delaney's grandfather got rich inventing the Delany valve for urinals and toilets. There's the Sloan valve, and there's the Delany valve.
Huh.
Yeah, so she said that she was rich. She grew up, they were flush.
Hardy har.
Hardy har. It's a
har.
We have a Hey, It's That Guy.
Hey, it's that guy.
Who is playing shock jock B.J. Cameron?
Anger from Inside Out.
Yes, what's his name?
Lewis Black.
She comes on my show, only wants to talk about her craft like I could give a rat's ass. I say, let's hear about your titty job. She walks off mid-interview. I have to fill up the rest of the hour with a call-in show.
Lewis Black, exactly. Yes, he's in the summer blockbuster Inside Out 2, reprising his role from Inside Out 1. By the way, $1 billion at the box office. One of 50 films of all time, $1 billion.
It's really cute. Have you guys seen it yet?
No, I have a thing.
What, being an adult?
No. My thing is I have a penis.
Hey, now.
So I can't go to the...
So you don't have feelings?
You don't have feelings.
Just anger.
Yeah.
When I talk, I move my hands like... Yeah, exactly,
Yes.
exactly. Lewis Black's father built sea mines for the Navy in World War II in Vietnam, but he opposed the war in Vietnam, so he quit and started creating stained glass.
Nice.
That is not your typical artistic path.
Sea mines.
Yeah. You know, they're like torpedoes, but really slow.
The kind they put in Jaws.
Oh,
mouth.
okay.
Yeah.
Sea mines. I was thinking sea mines, like a gold mine under the ocean, not like a bomb. Okay, continue.
Got it.
We do have a Hey, It's That Girl.
We do.
Hey, it's that girl.
Who is playing Sourpuss, who we really don't care if it happened to her Jessie dog.
Hey now, that's Shannon from Lost. Maggie Grace
Yeah.
would be smirching there.
You think I'm trash, don't you?
No, I don't.
But all those things that BJ said about me you think are funny. Breaking into my trailer and stealing my panties.
Best known as Sourpuss plane crash survivor Shannon on Lost.
Listen, she fell in love with
Yeah.
Syed and then they died.
She got shot on accident.
Yeah.
Oops.
Because she was running through the woods in the wrong direction.
So, a million ways to die on that island.
She looked like another. That's what you get.
That's what you get for running up that hill first. I'm
If
just
you-
saying.
If you're at least you're not one of those tailies right in the tail.
We remember that so fucking specifically. I'm so proud of us. It's very memorable, is it not?
She wasn't a strong character that I cared about too much.
No,
You know, because she was like the sister of that other guy, and they
The
were
hot
both just
one.
kind of like, eh. You know, it was kind of like Gilligan and Marianne. It was kind of like, on the island. You know, like what do you bring besides good looks?
But that actor is Ian
Somerhalder.
Somerhalder, right?
Summerholder.
Summerholder, right? Okay.
Summerholder.
Summerholder.
If you had a vagina, you would know it was Summerholder.
All right. Well, Ian and Maggie, she started dating in real life her stepbrother on Lost, and then PubHub said, "You're onto something here."
Oh, okay. Pornhub, you mean?
What did I say?
Pubhub?
Pornhub. God damn it! I wrote that joke. I thought it was just as good as the Prince Andrew one, but
I remember so much about that fucking story. I remember her horrible stepmother. Her dad died, cut her off from all the money. I remember almost nothing about Lost, but I remember everything about boring ass Shannon. What is wrong with
she just plays annoying so well.
And not Penny's boat.
Not Penny's boat.
Not Penny's boat.
Not Penny's boat. Another great one. I remember. That's right. I remember how Charlie died. Pour one out for Charlie. Hey, she was also Althea in Fear the Walking Dead for 4 seasons. She was also Taken in Taken, and unfortunately was given back each time.
She was the title role in Taken.
Yeah, she was.
The eponymous role.
She should just learn to clock the fucking door.
The titular role in Taken.
The titular role.
You might have missed Maggie in her short film called Hot Girl Fast Car Eating a Banana.
Titular.
A film that doubles as the whole script. Can you give me the name of the actor playing attorney Dave Seaver?
We don't want any deals. Carolyn shot BJ because she was distraught over what he'd done to her son.
That's Michael Boatman. You might remember him as Carter opposite Michael J. Fox on Spin City. And he's been in the cast of The Good Fight as Julius Kane, Instant Mom as Charlie, and Stanley Babson in Arliss. You guys don't remember him?
I mean, he's like a face.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why you say it's that guy.
I didn't even know you were going to ask about him. That's how much I didn't realize he was a guy.
Went right past. I guess you didn't watch Spin City like I did.
I did, but I just... You
didn't remember him? He starred alongside Dana Delany as Mortician Sam Beckett in China Beach.
All right.
He's played Seaver, this attorney, 7 times on SVU, and he brought the character back last year on the reboot of The Mothership.
Okay.
And he's also written a collection of short stories called God Laughs When You Die.
Oh, well.
Pretty fucking dark.
That is dark.
Bleak.
Pretty bleak.
Yeah.
But probably true. We have a repeat offender.
Repeat offender.
Playing Danny's attorney is Dexter's Luna Lauren Velez.
Yes.
There was no rape, just 2 teenagers having consensual sex.
And Judith Light is back as Bureau Chief Elizabeth Donnelly.
The best.
Donnelly, excuse
She's
me.
the best.
You don't even say hi to your boss? Hi, what did I do?
Now, do you recognize TV executive producer, not really director, Franco Marquez?
The average girl loses her virginity by 16. Now, what's the responsible thing to do? Pretend it doesn't happen? Or show a girl in charge of her sexuality?
I know the actor, but I don't know where I know him from because he's in everything. But I know who he is.
Was he like Sons of Anarchy and stuff like that? Like, that's what I feel like I know him from.
It's like Nestor Serrano, right?
Nestor Serrano,
He's
yes.
in everything.
5 Law & Order universe appearances. He's been, guest in tons of stuff, from the X-Files to 90210 to The Last Ship, Witchblade, and The Blacklist. This Puerto Rican man from Queens played Islamic terrorist Navi Araz on season 4 of 24 because in Hollywood, brown is close enough. Did you spot BJ's radio producer?
Hey, you guys know BJ's harmless, right? He's just playing.
It only takes one crazy.
Oh, you mean the guy who plays Baba Booey?
Yeah, they're Baba
Fake Baba
Booey. Fake Baba
Was that
Booey.
him? No, it wasn't. He did not enough teeth.
That's Jason Antoon. You can see him as Ernie Malik on NCIS Hawaii. Or you could if they didn't just cancel it.
I've never seen any of those NCIS shows. Not even a single minute of any of them.
There's 5 of them, including one in Sydney, Australia.
Never seen a minute.
The U.S. Navy Criminal Investigation Services in Australia.
Never seen a minute of any of those shows, and you know that because you know what network they are on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I've never seen any NCISs.
Rebecca has spent too much time watching Girl Undercover.
The only thing I watch on CBS is The Young and the Restless, and you know that, Kevin.
Yeah. Jason was also Dr. Brickman on Claws, and he's also the voice of Ratatouille, the rat in Courage the Cowardly Dog. Not Ratatouille, the Disney thing with the ride and everything.
I was going to say, that would be a big swing for
would
fake
be a big
Baba
swing.
Booey.
Lastly, who's playing the Judge Terhune?
Don't know.
Court officer, please remand Mr. Spencer into custody pending a sentencing hearing.
That is the late Philip Bosco, 12 Law & Order Universe appearances for the trifecta. Bit roles in a whole bunch of things. He was Laura Linney and Philip Seymour Hoffman's father in The Savages. He was in My Best Friend's Wedding. He did voice acting for
Was he the Jizz in My Best Friend's Wedding?
The Jizz?
Oh, sorry, that's the wrong movie. Never mind.
That's something about Mary.
I always think about Cameron Diaz. It's the only thing I can think about is her hair like this.
Well,
yeah.
Never mind.
Every time I think of Cameron Diaz, I think of Jizz.
He also did voice acting for Ken Burns' Civil War, but who will ever forget his starring role in the ABC after-school special Read Between the Lines?
Wait a minute. Is this about somebody with a reading disorder?
Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
Yes. He plays...
I knew it. It's about somebody with learning disorder, isn't it?
He plays an illiterate toy maker. Wait.
I knew it. I knew it.
So today's generation will never understand the after-school specials of our childhood. Insane topics.
Okay, go ahead.
He plays an illiterate toy maker who has the rights to his invention stolen.
Uh-huh.
And he gets him back with the help of his grandson and wait, the Harlem Globetrotters.
And that's the other thing that this generation will never understand the call of. The Harlem Globetrotters were on everything.
Yeah.
Amazing.
There's in the promo, there's also because she cut these things from the show, and one of the players says to him, "Hey, we've been thinking about your Gramps. Maybe there's something we can do." No, Harlem Globetrotters, there's literally nothing you can do. Spinning a ball on your finger, Meadowlark, is not going to help Grandpa do the alphabet. What could the Harlem Globetrotters possibly do? You don't know tort fraud? You're not going to go to court for Grandpa? How's he going to sign an agreement for you? He can't read.
Oh, man.
Wow.
I apologize to the illiterate toy makers out there in America. So a photo of Jessie in her hospital bed winds up on the front page of the newspaper, and for some reason, this is part of the criminal investigation.
Mm-hmm.
So they find out the secret photographer is actually her doctor.
What they pay you? 20 grand? 30?
No.
We got you on the security camera.
I owe $90,000 in student loans. This photographer offered me $50,000.
She says she did it because she has $90,000 in student debt. Thanks, Obama.
I think Biden forgot he was supposed to sign that executive order that was supposed to cancel that shit, right?
And now look what you got to do. Crime.
Gotta do crime. That's it.
It's like, I have $90,000 in student debt. What did you expect me to do? I had to do crime.
Yeah.
She knocked off more than half of her student debt with one crime.
That's right. That's right. You know what else you could do to knock off your student debt? Be a fucking doctor. That's what you can do to knock off that student debt. Just saying.
Well, this economy, you need a side hustle.
Yeah,
right.
there it is.
Podcasting helps.
Paparazzi. Dr. Paparazzi here. Just go behind the curtain and Dr. Paparazzi will help you out.
Sounds like a new CBS show.
That's right.
NCIS.
Starring
Dr.
Ian
Paparazzi.
Solomher. Dr. Paparazzi.
Dr. Paparazzi, baby.
Who loves you, baby? Dr. Paparazzi does. Here's Nurse Flashbulb.
You can have Dr. Paparazzi Miami, Dr. Paparazzi Los Angeles, Dr. Paparazzi Manhattan.
Dr. Paparazzi, New Orleans, Kansas City Burn Unit. Yes.
Which Who song will be the theme song to Dr. Paparazzi?
Lady Gaga. And they just have to do like a Dr. Paparazzi. Yeah, it's just you take that Lady Gaga song and you just change it a little bit.
I'm hoping it's Sweet Georgia Brown, like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh, my fucking God.
So they make the connection to the radio show because the teens who were busted on the set said they met a third teen.
We met him there that day hanging out. Told him about the panty raid. Said he wanted in. Then he wienered out at the last minute.
Waits for us to get busted and then sneaks past while security's distracted. Ass clown.
Yeah, you remember his name or what he was wearing?
Said his name was Speed.
So apparently he's one of the Jets from West Side Story.
Yeah, but he's acting like Anthony Michael Hall in 16 Candles.
Oh my God. Can we talk about the dialogue in this scene just briefly?
Sure.
Panty raids, wienered out. The fuck? The fucking
Wienered out took me out.
In the scene. It was like the reject dialogue from The Breakfast Club, like the shit that ended up on the floor. It was wild.
They visit BJ Cameron's studio to talk to him, and I don't know how he's so popular. He's doing midday shift. He's not even doing morning drive. Afternoon drive is that's where the money is, drive time. This is how the trolling began. He says that Jesse walked out of an interview when he wanted to talk to her about, quote, her titty job. And by the looks of things, she walked out on the titty job, too.
Hey, now.
What?
She's 16,
That's
Kevin.
why.
Kevin, she's a 25-year-old playing 16. You shouldn't talk shit about that.
And the only pube in her panties belonged to somebody else.
Hey, now.
Yeah,
She's a 30-year-old playing 16, Kevin.
She's smoking hot. By the way, I think this seems like a whole lot of trouble to get a pair of panties, which are available at any department store. It's not the broom of the Wicked Witch of the West, right?
Eddie Murphy is back as Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. He's rejoined by familiar faces like Judge Reinhold and John Ashton as Rosewood and Taggart, along with new characters and new hijinks.
I didn't realize that you couldn't really fly helicopters.
Watch Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. now, only on Netflix. Rated R.
Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. With the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms, Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers. In fact, Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/podcast free. All lowercase, shopify.com/podcast free, shopify.com/podcast free.
All right, now let's take a look at the second half of this episode. Danny tells Novak he didn't go there to rape Jessie, just steal her panties to get on the BJ show. But when he got there and read her some of his lit poetry, her spigot opened up like a garden hose and he busted a nut.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, Kevin.
You believe this poem crap? We've got to ask.
Why? Why? Just because I make out with boys on TV doesn't make me a whore.
A suspect gave us his version of what happened. It's what his lawyers are going to say in court. We need to hear your version.
The only man I've ever slept with is Franco. Why would I just all of a sudden sleep with a stranger?
Because the pill-popping actress makes for an unreliable witness, Danny seems likely to walk. But that's when he calls into the BJ show to brag about banging Jessie. But they pulled him off the air before Danny told the shock jock that the star was asleep when he did it. Casey tries to protect Jessie from testifying by offering Danny a plea, which Carolyn rejects. Saying fuck all to the Constitution, she gets Danny and Jessie together in a room without his mother or his lawyer. They agree to change his plea to guilty and face the consequences of his actions. But later that day, BJ is shot in the shoulder by Carolyn, an attack that is exquisitely captured on film for the newspaper. At trial, BJ makes an ass of himself, and Carolyn comes off as a concerned mother, emotionally distraught over the corruption of her son by BJ. But Novak confronts her with records showing the act was not spontaneous. The dramatic photo was taken by another activist so the shooting could raise awareness for their cause. The jury is deadlocked, 6-6. Carolyn returns to continue her effort to clean up smut in the media, and BJ returns to make it even smuttier. So Danny says that he seduced Jessie after reading her a poem that he wrote, and Novak says,
So you read her a poem, and then she just said, that's nice, let's have sex. Let's hear the poem.
Yeah, let's hear the poem. Asking for a friend.
Right?
It's pretty powerful stuff.
Roses are red, violets are blue. I'm 16, and so are you. What the fuck?
Two paths diverge in the woods. Now get on my jammy. What was so good?
Just like, oh, you're so romantic. This is such a great idea. Let's do this. Like, no. It's like,
No.
I read her a beautiful poem and she was like putty in my hands. And I was like, oh, that never happened.
It was just the lyrics to the theme song of Dr. Paparazzi. And it worked because I used that voice.
It's got a killer bridge.
Yeah, I used my Dr. Paparazzi voice. So, but see, Danny's taken to what appears to be adult court to enter his guilty plea in a case that is so sensational that somebody bribed a doctor $50,000 just to get a photo of the victim in the hospital bed. And yet, no one is in that courtroom. Talk about dropping a story.
Yeah.
Talk about yesterday's news.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we're all over this one, but, whatever. I guess it's done. So there is this recurring theme about First Amendment rights. So we have to have the obligatory argument among the detectives on the issue.
Yeah.
I mean, he could say to you, Elliot Stabler, I command you to rape Jesse Donning. You wouldn't have a case against him.
How is that possible?
Elliot, he doesn't really mean for you to do it. It's a joke.
Except this time, someone really went out and did it.
Yeah, well, there's your bad guy, not BJ.
They're both just as bad.
Elliot, you're 0 for 3. Okay, there's no intent, no imminent act, and no likelihood that his words would be taken seriously.
I feel like the writers are trying to make a point by making a point. It's about free speech. So they're going to just fuck with the censors and go for the most daring dialogue they think they can.
What did they say?
We hear about her titty job, which I thought was kind of like, oh, you could say titties? All right, fine. There's that. And my favorite was BJ's line where he says, she's a bitch with a capital C.
Yeah.
That's a good one, right?
Yep.
You're like, oh, thinker. Thinker.
I don't think that was much of a thinker, Kevin.
Well, for
bitch with a capital C.
She was a real see you next Tuesday.
See, there's one.
I've heard that on SVU before.
By the way, you can, on network TV, you can call someone a dick, but you cannot refer to someone's dick.
Oh, there's a distinction there. They're two different things.
There's a distinction. Yeah, so apparently that's okay. It's especially okay at 10 o'clock. So well played, SVU. So later, Carolyn shoots BJ in the shoulder, and a photographer gets the most incredibly composed shot. It's like the flag raising at Iwo Jima. It's just framed perfectly. Carolyn is facing the camera, gun in hand, and BJ is spinning around, mouth open with a bleeding wound right on his shoulder. It's so dramatic. It reminded me of the photo of Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. Kind of, It was so great.
Yeah.
But we learned later that the photo was a setup with her assistant who really shouldn't have been standing downrange of the shooting.
This whole plan makes no sense to me.
What about stray bullets?
So I have a question. If the plan was for her to get a photo, why did she have to actually shoot him for this plan to work? What if she had killed him?
Yeah, why shoot him in the shoulder? Shoot him in the head. He's done.
Or why shoot him at all? Why? What is this plan? Can someone explain to me what this plan was supposed to be?
Why not be like every other episode and shoot him on the courthouse steps and slip off into the night?
But the publicity was what? Her shooting him? What was the plan?
To bring awareness to the slut shaming that she, her slut shaming campaign.
By shooting fake Howard Stern.
Yeah. This is for Eleanor Roosevelt. Yeah.
All right.
There you go. Yeah.
Kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the stand, Carolyn's attorney makes BJ read some of the things that he said about Jesse.
Someone needs to throw her down and nail her like she's never been nailed before.
But, according to you, these words were never meant to incite violence toward Jesse Donning.
No, they're jokes. They were meant to be funny.
You see anyone laughing?
I didn't use my funny voice.
She needs a good banging, yeah!
Yeah, you said horrific things. I don't even think you could save it with a funny voice. I don't even think Dr. Paparazzi could save it.
Yeah, I think she needs a good banging, like no one's been banged ever before. No, it doesn't really work, does it?
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Eddie Murphy is back as Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. He's rejoined by familiar faces like Judge Reinhold and John Ashton as Rosewood and Taggart, along with new characters and new hijinks.
I didn't realize that you couldn't really buy helicopters.
Watch Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. now, only on Netflix. Rated R.
Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. With the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms, Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers. In fact, Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/podcastfree. All lowercase, shopify.com/podcastfree, shopify.com/podcastfree.
All right, let's take a look at the real-life story that inspired this episode. It's time for Rip from the Headlines.
You think you know who did it. You think you know who did it. But you don't know who did it. You don't know who did it. Rip from the Headlines.
The character of B.J. Cameron could be based on any number of radio shock jocks, including Howard Stern. Born in Queens in 1954, Stern's father was a radio engineer at WHOM in Manhattan. As a lad, his dad set up a microphone and turntables in the basement for Howard to record himself. Stern answered an ad for a fun morning guy at WCCC in Hartford, where he first performed the kind of explicit skits that made him famous. He quit when the station denied him a $5 raise. Stern eventually landed at WNBC, giving the station its highest ratings in years, but he was fired in 1985 after the head of RCA heard a bit called Bestiality Dial a Date. His new radio show went into syndication, boasting 200 million listeners in 65 cities. In 2005, Stern left FM for satellite radio, signing a $500 million deal with Sirius. For his forays into television, films and publishing, Howard Stern dubbed himself the King of All Media. I'll also add that the character in this episode is not based on Cy Frater, a lovely chap from Manchester, England. You can hear him weekdays on the Kiss FM morning show in Portugal or visit his bar, Sweet Caroline's, for a round of karaoke. And Cy Frater sounds remarkably like me. Morning.
Cy Frater, Kiss FM.
Wow.
Cy Frater. Yes, by the way, all these years, season 9, we don't really talk about Cy that much. Yes, lovely chap from Manchester. He is on the morning show there on English
and that's what his radio show sounds like?
Yeah.
Amazing. That's
Cy's great.
So cool.
And he does own a bar, kind of a sports bar called Sweet Caroline's there. So Rebecca says everything that she learned about radio was not from Ira Glass.
100% from Howard Stern.
It was from
100% from listening to Howard Stern.
Roberta, are you a listener, a fan of Howard Stern? What's your exposure to Howard Stern been?
I remember watching Howard Stern on TV late night as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Probably shouldn't have been, but I do remember watching that.
WOR in New York.
He had like a 2-year-long
maybe
live
it was
show.
in a studio with everybody.
Yeah.
And then I remember when he got his Sirius show because I had Sirius radio, so I would listen every so often. It was a little much for me sometimes. Yeah. It's interesting to see the trajectory of his career and how he was like a judge on America's Next, what was it? America's Got Talent.
Oh, yeah. Now he's like a Swiftie, and now he's like a he's a completely different. He's a softie.
He's really mellowed out.
He's a softie.
Yeah. I mean, he was so edgy. Certainly about celebrities in the beginning. He had Sterling John who would go and troll him on the red carpet, and it was all this very awkward tape.
Because he was an outsider.
There was a Baba Booey prank call on ABC in the middle of the OJ standoff. If you remember that.
Oh, by the way, that was also hilarious.
But yes, it was. But now he's friends with all these celebrities, and he hangs out with them, and he does great interviews, but he's not as biting. Rebecca, did he lose his bite?
No.
So
I'm going to say a couple things about Howard Stern. He has always been the greatest interviewer I have ever heard, period. He is the greatest interviewer I have ever heard, period. Even when he was an outsider, even when he would cut certain celebrities.
Because he feels unrestrained,
so
he can ask.
He would still always have great celebrities on.
Yeah.
Even when he was very, very edgy, even when he was doing over-the-top sexual stuff on his show, he would still book incredible guests. He would always ask the question that I would want to know. He's a great listener. And I think the thing about him is because he's always an outsider. He grew up feeling like a loser. He grew up being incredibly bullied. So he is just a great listener who's not waiting to talk, right? And so he is just incredibly empathic as an interviewer. And he hears other people's insecurities and knows to jump on them and gets people to talk about stuff they don't talk about with anyone else.
So between 1990 and 2004, Stern and the stations he was on were fined by the FCC for a total of $2.5 million. One of the biggest fines he got was $600,000 for this. He said, "The closest I came to making love to a black woman was I masturbated to a picture of Aunt Jemima on a pancake box."
Fucking Christ. Oh my
And he
God.
said, "I did it right on her kerchief."
And what did Robin say to that?
I don't know. But he's the one that got the fine.
Well, here's the whole thing is...
And I just said it again, and I'm not going to get fined.
Robin, but he made that joke with Robin, right?
I don't know what the FCC had.
I know.
There's so many other things that I think were worse than that.
I know. I mean, that's the whole thing. His co-host is a black woman. I mean, I'm not excusing the comment, but I'm also saying his co-host is the highest paid black woman in media, probably besides Oprah, right?
Yeah. Who thought you could be more demeaning to Aunt Jemima than just being Aunt Jemima?
Jesus fucking
right?
Christ.
Anyway.
Aunt Jemima.
Howard Stern has a $500 million deal with Sirius that runs through June of 2025. And no one is quite sure what his plans are beyond that. I also have a deal with Sirius. It's $4.99 for the first 12 months and $18.99 after that.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's going to do it for us. We want to thank our guest, Roberta Blevins. Roberta, where can our listeners follow you online?
You can find me pretty much everywhere. You can go to robertablevins.com. I have all my socials there. Or the podcast is Life After MLM. Life After MLM Pod has all the information as well.
And Rebecca Lavoie, how can our listeners follow you?
Well, I would say also follow Roberta on TikTok. You're fucking awesome on TikTok.
Thank you.
You can follow me everywhere. I don't know how to TikTok, but I'm there. But you can follow me everywhere else at Reb Lavoie.
And you can track me on Twitter at Kevin P. Flynn. You can also tweet to us at Law & Order Pod or follow us on Instagram at These Are Their Stories Podcast or like and subscribe on YouTube and TikTok. Our newsreader was Cy Frater. Our theme music was composed and performed by Uncanny Valleys. Content assistance from Travis Roy. Lily Flynn handles promotions. All clips in this podcast were used in compliance with the U.S. Copyrights Act fair use exemption for criticism and commentary. Go to lawandorderpodcast.com and sign up for our newsletter for a chance to be our next Law & Order Marathon winner. These Are Their Stories is back, and we were recorded in Studio C and is a production of Partners in Crime Media.
Partners in Crime Media.
Eddie Murphy is back as Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. He's rejoined by familiar faces like Judge Reinhold and John Ashton as Rosewood and Taggart, along with new characters and new hijinks.
I didn't realize that you couldn't really buy helicopters.
Watch Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. now, only on Netflix. Rated R.